Can you love a job? How many people think you can love a job here? Most people? Oh, good. That's interesting. Some people are like, I don't know, maybe I can love a job, You've probably heard of people being married to their work, okay? And that might be someone who's a workaholic, okay? I thought about this. I was watching Frank's presentation last year here. He was talking about the psychology of love. What does it mean to love? I mean, there's a great question. And actually, that's a question that's been addressed in psychology. What does it mean to love? And so Frank presented Robert Sternberg's triangular theory of love last year and talked about this. And I thought, well, does that apply to loving your work? Okay, let's review some of Sternberg's theories. Sternberg said that love has basically three components that's made up with it. It's liking the person. Okay, so we're talking about loving another person. Do you like them? Do they have characteristics that are pleasing to you? Do they do things that you like? Do you like being around that person? Okay. There's commitment. Okay. So, some people that we love, there's usually kind of a natural progression towards commitment, even before you're married. Okay. There's a phase of commitment, and there's passion. Okay. That there's this infatuation, there's this drive. Oh, this person just, they just capture my eye. I must be with this person. It's this feeling that we can't quench. And what Sternberg says is that we don't necessarily experience all of these things at once, but maybe we do. And sometimes in a relationship, it evolves what type of love that we're feeling. For the same person, we may, sometimes we like them, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we feel passionate about that person, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're committed to the person, sometimes we aren't. Be careful with that one, okay? Honey, I'm always committed, okay? So what Sternberg said is that there's different types of love, okay? When we are passionate about the person and we like them, but we're not necessarily committed, that's a romantic love. This is often the early stages of love, okay? I like the person, they've got a great personality, they're really hot, wow, they kind of make my heels click. I'm passionate about that person. That's a romantic type of love. Now, oftentimes it evolves into adding that commitment, okay? And sometimes there's a love where you like the person and you're committed to them, but you're not necessarily passionate about that person. Sometimes this is a kind of love we go in and out of, okay? In that, maybe a couple that's been married for 30 years may not necessarily feel passion. Sometimes that passion is rekindled. Okay, that's a companionate love. Okay? Here's an interesting kind of love: fatuous love. Does anybody know what the word fatuous means? Foolish. A foolish love. If you're passionate about someone and committed to them, but you really don't like them, that's kind of foolish. But come on, I know some of you out there have experienced this. Okay, you really think that person's hot. Okay, and you're really committed, but you don't really like them. They're kind of a jerk. They really don't do much for you, but they're hot. Okay, that's a fatuous love. I think what most of us want, and what I think Sternberg would say is the penultimate form of love, is a consummate love, where we like the person, we're passionate about the person, and we're committed to the person. So, does this apply to jobs? That's the question. And after watching Frank's presentation, I thought, well, I bet you it does. I think it does. Because there's a lot of variables or constructs in IO psychology that correspond to these variables. Okay? First of all, job satisfaction. do I like my job? So this is something that we measure as IO psychologists, usually through surveys. Do I like my job? And so what I'll show you are items from a survey called the Job Descriptive Index, very popular job satisfaction measure. So do I like the work itself? Is it interesting and pleasant? Is it frustrating? Is it respected by others? Okay, we either respect it or we don't. Okay, obviously it's more satisfying if it's interesting, pleasant, and respected, and less satisfying if it's frustrating. Okay. Do we like the supervisor? Is the supervisor intelligent, quick-tempered? Do they know the job well? Are they lazy? Okay. Obviously, if our supervisor is quick-tempered and lazy, we're going to be less satisfied with our job. If they are intelligent and knows their job well, we're going to be more satisfied with our job. What about our coworkers? Are they loyal, boring, work well together, stupid? Okay. Less satisfied with those boring, stupid coworkers. These are actual items on a survey. I didn't make this up, okay? More satisfied with the loyal, working well together, okay? Do we like the pay? Is it adequate or is it unfair? Is it well paid? Is it secure? Do we have opportunities for promotion? Are there good opportunities for promotion, or is this a dead-end job? Okay, so I think job satisfaction corresponds to that liking element of Sternberg's model. There's a very obvious construct in IO psychology called organizational commitment. Are we committed to the organization? And actually what it refers to is, do you feel as if your identity is linked to the organization? Is part of who I am being part of this organization? I'm a Raider. Part of who I am is being part of this community college. Okay? Is that part of who I am? Am I committed? Again, items from that type of survey, I'd be happy to spend the rest of my career with this organization. I really feel as if this organization's problems are my own. I feel like part of the family at my organization. This organization has a great deal of personal meaning for me. I enjoy discussing my organization with people outside it. People who are committed to the organization respond more affirmatively. They say yes to these things in a higher degree than those who aren't committed. Yeah, Frank. You know, I have not seen any particular data, but certainly the hypothesis is very pertinent and communicated. And again, I think what you're saying, and which is true, is the relationship between organizations and employees has changed, and in large part from the trend that we've seen in downsizing. And that employees can expect in their career at some point to be told by their organization, sorry, we don't have a job for you anymore. And I think employees are responding, and especially younger employees are saying, well, if that's the climate, then I better be prepared to be able to shift my employment. Okay, the model used to be you would go to work at an organization and stay there for your whole career and retire from the place that you started work at in your teens or your 20s. I have not seen any data, but there's a research idea that I'd like to pursue. Maybe we could pursue it together. So I think that's the case, and I think that's something to think about as young people. I think the experience of feeling that you're part of something larger, like in an organization, is an important experience. I don't think you want to miss out on that. But at the same time, you have to look after your well-being. You have to sustain yourself. Question there.
Yeah, I would ask a question.
It really depends on, the company and the vocation. I think that it's less and less likely. Okay, if you go into the field of teaching, you might have that opportunity because there's something called tenure. Although they're trying to get rid of tenure. I think that may be the case. Although there's advantages also to moving to a different job. Okay? Your best opportunity for a salary increase is when you're negotiating your starting salary. Your best opportunity for a real promotion is usually when you leave an organization and go to another. Maybe you shouldn't be thinking about where you're going to retire from because you're losing some of your leverage. And that's something you should think of. Your career is an investment in yourself, and your labor is a commodity that you sell. No one is going to hire you out of goodwill towards you because they just like you because you're a nice person. They hire you because they make money from your labor. And that's fine. That's good. That's capitalism. I don't have a problem with that. But understand it. They're not doing you a favor by hiring you. They're making money from your labor. And you own your own career. The company doesn't own your career. Good questions. Anytime you have them, let's go on. So the last component of Sternberg's model that I'll talk about is work engagement. So being highly involved and passionate about the work and the organization. So these, again, are items from a survey on work engagement. I'm proud of the work that I do. My job inspires me. I feel happy when I'm working intensely. One of the most exciting things for me is getting involved with things happening in this organization. Being a member of this organization is exhilarating to me. Okay, this is the passion of work, and we can feel passion in our work, and we should. I feel bad for people who don't feel passion in their work. I think it's important. So as I apply this to Sternberg's, again, job satisfaction is the liking component, and work engagement is the passion component, and organization commitment is the commitment component. I got looking at this, though, and I thought, is it really totally the same? So I changed some of the labels here because I thought, well, these labels of love don't fit. I kept the consummate love. Okay? If you're satisfied with your job, engaged in your work, and committed to the organization, that's a consummate love. And that's the place where we want to be in our work. Okay? But let's say you're satisfied with the job and you're engaged with the work, but maybe you're not committed to the organization. Here, the example I was thinking about was the attorney who loves being an attorney, is engaged in the work, but she really doesn't like her client. Okay, maybe a defense attorney who's defending someone who's kind of a scumbag. Okay, but even scumbags deserve a defense. Okay, that's our system, and it's a great system that we have. Okay, that person has what I call vocational love. They love the vocation of what they do. They love arguing in front of the courtroom. They get lost in that work. Okay, if they're in that flow state, but they're not really, they don't feel their identity comes from that person that they work from. Okay. What if you feel job satisfaction and organizational commitment, but you're not engaged in the work? This is what I call a temperate love. Okay, it's a moderate love. I think a lot of people fall into that. I like my work, and the organization's great, but I guess I just don't feel that passion in my work. Okay, and I changed what was called the fatuous love here. This is the one I had the most problem with because I thought, well, what about those people? They're engaged in their work and they're committed to the organization, but they don't like their job. They're not satisfied with their job. Are those people foolish to have that job, to feel that love? I don't think so. I call that unrequited love. It's like, hey, I love the organization. I'm really committed to my work. I'm involved in my work, but there's no opportunities for promotion. And I really don't like my coworkers. What are you going to do about that? Sometimes you know, you wait around and change.